You ever wonder why starting a new goal feels so exciting, but sticking with it, man, it feels almost impossible? Well, today we're going to break down a really powerful strategy, backed by neuroscience, that completely flips that script. And it's all about one simple idea: small wins.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You get this huge rush of inspiration. You're going to run a 5K. You're going to master a new language. You're finally going to finish that big project. The energy is just off the charts. Motivation is through the roof. And then what happens? A few weeks later, those brand new running shoes are just gathering dust. That language app is buried on page 5 of your phone. So why does this keep happening?
Well, here's the good news. It is not you. Seriously, it's not some personal failing. It's not a lack of willpower. The problem is, you've probably been using a strategy that's literally fighting against your brain's natural wiring. The real secret? It's all about understanding how your brain actually builds motivation. Okay, so let's dive right in. To really get motivation, we have to talk about a key chemical in your brain. There's this one key chemical, and it's called dopamine. And I'm willing to bet it doesn't work the way most of us think it does.
Yeah, you've probably heard dopamine called the pleasure chemical, right? But that's a bit of a misconception. It's much more accurate to call it the motivation chemical. See, your brain releases it as a reward when you actually accomplish something, when you make real, tangible progress. It's that little chemical hit that basically tells your brain, hey, that was good. Let's do that again.
Okay, so here's where it all goes wrong with those huge goals. Let's say your goal is to run a 5K. Well, you can't do that on day one, right? So your brain goes, zero progress towards the finish line. And what does that mean? No dopamine reward. Without that chemical pat on the back, your brain, which is basically designed to conserve energy, just slams on the brakes. It starts whispering in your ear, whoa, this is way too hard. We're not getting anything out of this. Let's just stop. And you can see the difference clear as day right here. Look at the dopamine you get for trying to run 5K today. It's practically zero, because the result is probably going to be exhaustion and feeling like you failed. But a 10-minute walk? That is a clear, undeniable win. Boom, you get that dopamine hit. And the next day, maybe you walk for 13 minutes. That's another win, another hit. See what's happening? You're building a reward cycle.
So this brings us to the absolute core of the strategy. And listen, it's not about lowering your standards or dreaming smaller. It's about literally rewiring your brain for success by focusing on these small, achievable wins. All right, let's put these two approaches head-to-head, like a face-off. In one corner, you've got the old way, the huge, all-or-nothing 5K leap. And let's be honest, for most of us, that's just a recipe for failure. And in the other corner, you've got the new way, the simple 10-minute walk. A first step that's, well, it's pretty much impossible to fail at.
So check this out. It breaks down the entire feedback loop. With the old way, right, the action, trying to run 5K, leads to failure. That means no dopamine, and your motivation just nosedives. But look at the new way. A small action, a 10-minute walk, leads to a real feeling of accomplishment. Your brain rewards you for it, and your motivation doesn't just stay level. It actually starts to build.
So this is the magic right here, this positive feedback loop. A small win gives you a hit of dopamine. That dopamine increases your motivation, which makes you want to take the next step. You're not just grinding it out with willpower anymore, you're building a self-sustaining engine of motivation. And by the way, this isn't just for fitness. This works for everything. Think about it. A huge, vague goal like be the perfect partner? I mean, what does that even mean? It's exhausting just thinking about it, and you can't even measure it. But what about a small, concrete win like, tonight I'm going to actively listen for 10 minutes without even touching my phone? Now that's achievable. You do it, you feel good about it, and guess what? It actually strengthens the relationship.
All right, so we've covered the why behind all this. Now for the fun part, the how. Let's get into a practical blueprint you can literally start using today. Okay, first things first, and this is absolutely critical. Do not give up on your big dreams. That huge, inspiring goal is still super important. It gives you direction, it gives you purpose. Think of it like your North Star. It's always out there on the horizon. But once you've set that big goal, you're going to do something that feels totally counterintuitive. You're actually going to turn your back on it. Yep, you're going to shift all your focus, all your energy away from that distant finish line and put it on one thing, the single, tiny step that's right in front of you. And just look at how this changes your focus. It's a total game changer. It's no longer about this intimidating mountain called master a language. Instead, it's about the simple, satisfying step of learn 3 new words today. See?
You're changing the goal from some vague thing you might do someday into something you can win at right now.
All right, here it is, your action plan. It's just 4 simple steps. Step 1, define the next tiny step. Step 2, go and actually do it. Step 3, and I'm serious, please do not skip this one, you have to consciously celebrate the win. Just take a second to acknowledge, hey, I did the thing I said I would do. That's what locks in the dopamine hit and completes the whole loop. And then step 4, you just repeat.
And if you're wondering if this stuff actually works, get this. A major study that tracked thousands of people found that the single biggest predictor of long-term success wasn't talent, it wasn't passion, it was celebrating small daily progress. That was it. So these small wins, they aren't just a nice to have. They are the #1 engine of genuine long-term change.
So let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway here? It really comes down to changing our whole perspective on what it means to achieve something important. You know, success really isn't about that one heroic, massive leap. That kind of thing rarely works, and it usually just leads to burnout. Instead, it's all about finding and sticking to a daily rhythm of small, consistent steps forward. Because every single one of those tiny wins does more than just move you one step closer to your goal. It actually generates the fuel, that dopamine, that motivation that you need to take the next step. It literally transforms what looks like an impossible mountain into a simple, manageable path of stepping stones.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Forget about next week, forget about next month. What is one small, totally manageable win that you can achieve today to get that motivation engine fired up?